Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94. You're back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to how New York hip-hop lost its cool. So he made one for New York as well. And I must say, New York, y'all music has been trash for years. Y'all music ain't hit. Y'all really ain't had nobody hit for y'all since Bobby Shmurda when he first came out. After he got out of jail this time, he ain't dropped no music. So we stopped looking for him. And then when he finally did drop some music, we didn't care no more. That's why you gotta drop it when you first get out. You gotta drop that first day out track, nigga. That's how you stay relevant, bro. Bobby Shmurda is a prime example of why you strike while the iron is hot, my nigga. We've been waiting for your ass to get out of jail. You taking your time buying big ass chains and rollies, doing interviews and shit. Ain't dropping not one song. Then when you finally do drop a song, nigga, we ain't checking for you. Get the fuck out of here. But anyways, though, yeah, New York, y'all been boo boo juice for some time now. I hate East Coast rappers. I hate East Coast rap, by the way. Y'all know me. I do not like the boom bap rap. I'm not a fan of it. Never been, because I am from the Midwest, and I always will tell y'all. Being from the Midwest, we did not grow up with the East Coast. You want to know why we didn't grow up with the East Coast? We don't relate to the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? We come from houses. A lot of us come from houses with front yards and backyards. East Coast niggas, they live in fucking brownstones and fucking 8-story, 100-story, 30-story fucking apartment projects. Now, Chicago niggas might relate to y'all, but everybody else in the Midwest pretty much lived in fucking houses. Front yards and backyards. Some grew up in apartments. Some grew up in duplexes. But for the most part, we have front yards and backyards. I'm just saying, bro. We could go outside and play. You know what I'm saying? We could play in the front yard and the backyard. Y'all don't have front yards and backyards. We don't relate. Y'all niggas take subways. And y'all niggas take trains and buses to work. By 16, we all got cars. The Midwest, freedom from the Midwest, we just don't relate to the East Coast. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't relate to the East Coast. Some of the East Coast rappers we let slide. You know what I'm saying? We love. Some of them we do love. Like, for instance, DMX, RIP. We all love DMX. You know what I'm saying? Some love Biggie. Some love Nas. Some love Jay-Z. Some love LL Cool J. Some love Big Daddy Kane. Some love Eric B. and Rakim. But for the most part, 50 Cent. 50 Cent as well. But for the most part, niggas just not fucking with New York. New York really ain't been on... New York really ain't had a wave since 50, really. Y'all lost y'all wave after 50, bro. And I hate to admit it, but 50 pretty much was pretty much all y'all had left. Like, y'all had Jay-Z for a little bit, but it's like even Jay-Z couldn't hold down New York the way 50 could. 50 was a monster when he came through the door. But anyways, though, let's get right into this, though. New York, y'all definitely lost y'all cool. Then y'all came back trying to steal Chicago shit with the drill music. Failing to realize that even Chicago niggas don't even do drill music like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was cool when Pop Smoke did it because Pop Smoke had a distinct voice. He had a unique voice. So it was cool to hear him rap like that. Fivio Foreign, he got nice bars with it. So he got clever bars with it. So doing that drill rap shit was cool when it was just Fivio and Pop Smoke. But sadly, after Pop Smoke passed away, and then everybody else tried to take his place. Yeah, New York, y'all just tried to copy Chicago. And I must say, that music is trash. New York drill music is trash. Because y'all acting like y'all from Chicago when y'all not really like that. Y'all not. Y'all one of the most safest cities in America. New York is one of the safest cities in America. Y'all got police everywhere. So even if you is popping a nigga upside the head, you going to jail the next day. Or you getting popped yourself. So it is what it is. New York, your music is trash. I'm sorry. New York, your music is trash. It's been trash. You're never going to get that feeling back unless another person with like Bobby Shmurda's energy and 50 Cent's aura comes along. Y'all not doing shit. Y'all just going to be sitting there banking on a Jay-Z and a Nas album at this point because y'all ain't really got, there ain't no help for y'all. Anyway, so let's get into this video.
He messed up New York City hip hop. I didn't say him. He's the program director. He didn't play that records. Jadakiss and them should be looking for you. Mad people should be looking for you.
Yo, man, you know what the
now
problem is?
Now we gotta go down
south. The problem is.
Now you gotta go to Atlanta.
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. The problem is you're so
everybody in New York sound like they from
on
Atlanta
social media trying to be positive that you bring this negative energy.
See what you did to hip hop? Just take responsibility.
Not supposed to be doing
Take responsibility. Take
it was
responsibility
your fault.
for your actions.
It was your fault. Same thing that's going on with you and French right now is the reason New York City fell off.
In hip-hop, the seeds of revolution that gave us the world's most popular musical art form couldn't have sprung up from anywhere other than New York. Born of the ingenuity that comes with adapting to your surroundings, hip-hop was created at the block parties and the projects of Bronx. From there, its breakbeats and its flows were adopted by youths from Queensbridge, Harlem, and Brooklyn. By the 90s, artists such as the Wu-Tang Clan had taken that energy and brought it out to Staten Island. And as the genre became a staple in music and demanded its respect, New York cemented itself as the undisputed capital of the culture. Standing as tall as any of the monuments in the city skyline, New York vibrated with the energy of the Big Daddy Kanes to the Biggies, Nas's, Jay-Z's, DMX's, and Killer Kames. Yet little by little, its position as the birth of hip-hop seems to hold less and less weight. First threatened by the rise of California's Death Row that allowed Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Tupac to become the biggest stars in the game, and left in danger by the power struggle that took place after Biggie's death in March of 1997, New York weathered this rocky patch thanks to the combined efforts of Jay-Z, Mace, DMX, The Lox, and Nas. But as we veered from the 20th century into the millennium, no one could have expected that the South, which was always regarded by New York as irrelevant, would take them over and leave New York struggling to recover. Although the changes in taste and the power of the internet undoubtedly had a role to play in leveling hip-hop's playing field, it's important to note that there were also forces within New York who took it upon themselves to divide and conquer, and in doing so, left the city scrambling. For one thing, you have the arrival of 50 Cent. Taking no prisoners and actively vengeful, beef was essential to his brand. Once he got the power that came with having the best-selling album of the year at a time where hip-hop wasn't capable of doing that, the city of New York became the personal playground of 50 and G-Unit from 2003 on. After all, this was not only the year that Jay-Z chose to bow out on the Black album, but DMX will never be the same after the release of Grand Champ. With the coast clear, 50 cemented himself as New York's king, becoming so powerful that he aired out his Murder Inc. rivals from the stage of Hot 97 Summer Jam. Stirring beef and belittling his enemies from the same coast such as Ja Rule and Fat Joe, the close ties between New York's iconic radio stations and 50 meant that many fans and critics believed that by focusing on 50 and doing little to present other potential NY superstars, they allowed 50's dominance over the competition to take shape. Naturally, both.
But you can't really blame 50 for that, because to be honest, Jay-Z did that shit too, my nigga. What is we saying? Hold on, bro. You're not just gonna put all that on 50 now. Like Jay-Z is just like Jay-Z hands is fucking clean. Like this nigga didn't just fucking. What? Hell no. Hell to the motherfucking no. We not doing that. We not doing that. We not finna put 50 in the blame of this. Like Jay-Z wasn't doing divide and conquer too. So Jay-Z wasn't out here doing divide and conquer too. So when Jay-Z became president of Def Jam, he wasn't out there dividing and conquering, making motherfuckers motherfuckers sign to other companies. Redman, Method Man, they left Def Jam. DMX got mad. DMX got mad and put his next album out independently. And didn't sell as well as he thought it would. Motherfucking Nas joined another label and dropped Hip Hop Is Dead. Then the next thing you know, Def Jam ain't got nothing but R&B and pop artists. And Jay-Z there by himself as the rapper. So that way he can make all the money. So all the dollar figures can go to him. So we not going to sit up here and act like Jay-Z didn't divide and conquer as well. He just did it from the inside. When he became president of Def Jam, he did it from the inside. He did the same thing with Rockefeller. Broke everything up with Dame Dash. But the fucked up part was a lot of people just went with Dame. Except for Kanye. And Jay-Z is lucky that Kanye went with him instead of Dame. Because if Kanye went with Dame, Jay-Z wouldn't be shit. Because remember, they divided after Kanye's second album. So after Kanye's second album, imagine he drops Graduation under a new label with Dame. Jay-Z ain't shit at that point. Imagine that. Imagine Kanye dropped Graduation without Jay-Z. Without Rockefeller. Under Dame and his music label. So let's not sit up here and act like 50 Cent, because he was beefing with everybody. Yeah, 50 Cent was beefing with everybody. I remember the Piggy Bank video. He was making fun of everybody from The Game, Cassidy, motherfucking Fat Joe, Ja Rule. I mean, but him and Ja Rule, that shit was personal. So I could understand Ja Rule. Ja Rule was personal. Now the rap beefs like Fat Joe, Jadakiss, Cassidy, The Game. Well, The Game became personal too. I'm trying to think who else. Subtle shots at Jay-Z. Subtle shots at Nas. Like, yeah, he was beefing with everybody, but like, let's be real. He cool with everybody now. He squashed the beef with Fat Joe. He squashed the beef with Jadakiss and them. He squashed the beef with him and Jay-Z. I wouldn't say they squashed the beef with Jay-Z, but they cooler than they cooler now than they used to be. I say they tolerate each other at this point in time. Ja Rule, that's permanent. That's personal. I don't even blame 50 for the Ja Rule thing. The Game, that's personal. I can understand. That's a little personal for him. I understand that one. But a lot of the so-called enemies he had in the past, he's made up with now. Like I said, man, y'all can't just sit up here and act like fucking he was in the wrong. Jay-Z was doing the same thing, but they don't never point that out. Jay-Z can always get off scot-free. Anybody else outside of Jay-Z, nah, we gotta point something out about him. Jay-Z is fucking flawless. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here.
Program director Ebro and 50 have been eager to pass the buck to one another.
He'll blame me for New York City hip hop.
It is your fault.
He was the program director. No, he did not play that music.
No, I supported you.
They should be looking
I supported you.
That's what back
it's your fault.
But you said the New York City hip hop died. I didn't shoot it.
No,
you did it.
You pulled it apart. You had everybody beefing with you. Anybody did a record with Joe or Ja was beefing with you. At a time when we could have had unity, the marquee artists did not want to work together.
Check this out. Listen, look.
Taking place in September 2017, the topic of who killed New York hip-hop sparked further debate among two men who witnessed it firsthand. In particular, Joe Budden and Maino, who blamed everything from the lack of solidarity within the city to the radio's dismissal of local acts.
You couldn't be mad at a A$AP Rocky for getting on and saying that he was influenced by Houston music.
Me and 50 are the end of New York. My signing, the 50 signing, after that, it was the South. And I'm blaming 50 and Ebro. I think both of them in combination killed it. A$AP Rocky has to feel like that. Know why? Ebro wasn't playing no A$AP Rocky. They was looking everywhere else but New York.
Facts.
Although Joe did place some blame on 50 for trying to seize the majority of radio from fellow East Coast rappers, it's not entirely fair to blame 50 when those before him had done the exact same thing. After all, the infamous Nas and Jay-Z beef started because Nas felt Jay-Z was trying to monopolize the city's radio.
Thank
Long
you.
before the billions, Jay too used Summer Jam as a platform for war and developed such a good relationship with the station's DJs.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing out that this man right here did the exact same fucking thing. The only difference is he did it when there wasn't that much competition in the East Coast market. Okay, there wasn't that much competition. His biggest competition was Nas and DMX. Ja Rule was making hits, but he wasn't fucking with no Jay-Z. Plus, Ja Rule was dealing with the 50 situation, so there was that. Then when 50 did finally blow up, this nigga said, "I'ma bow out the game." And when he bowed out the game, he did divide and conquer from the inside when he became president. So let's not sit up here, act like this nigga didn't do all this shit. This nigga has something to do with New York dying off as well. This nigga did divide and conquer as well. He let 50 do the beefing while he divided and conquered inside of a label. He made sure that Def Jam went to the South. He made sure that pop artists and R&B artists and niggas from the South was on the Def Jam label. Got rid of everybody that used to be on Def Jam, such as the Method Mans, the Redmans, the DMXs. He got rid of all of them. Made all of them get out. Nas knocked out all his competition. So that way when he came back with that weak ass Kingdom Come album, which flopped, that shit was garbage. Let's not sit up here and act like this man didn't do this shit as well. We not finna do that to 50. We not finna do that to 50 like this man didn't do it from the inside. Pause. This nigga did an inside job on East Coast, on the New York scene. He monopolized it. He let 50 destroy it from the outside while he was on the inside destroying and severing relationships and making it hard for everybody else. Everybody had to go to a different label. Everybody was going independent. So now the New York scene, you know what I'm saying, it's not blowing up anymore because you got motherfuckers like Rick Ross and Young Jeezy on Def Jam. So now you can put all the market dollars towards the South. So that way, the plans was so that way when they could drop their shit, and then when he drop his, come back, when he come out of retirement and drop his shit, can't nobody say nothing to him. But there was one entity that was fucking that up for him, and that was Lil Wayne. That was the only person that was fucking that up for him, was Lil Wayne. He couldn't get past that barrier. Lil Wayne was becoming too hot. It was gaining too much attention, and that was the only thing that stopped him from completing his dominance. That was the only thing. Was Lil Wayne. Then Drake happened. Then more niggas from the South started coming around, and then it got then Chief Keef happened, and then Independence and all this stuff started happening, and people realized they don't really need the labels. You could just do shit on the internet. You could blow up on the internet. Then the SoundCloud wave happened. See how this works? None of this shit. East Coast was destroyed. The East Coast, if you gonna say 50 destroyed it with the beef, Jay-Z destroyed it from within. Jay-Z changed the sound. So let's not put that blame on 50 because he was beefing with niggas. There's too many entities that destroyed New York hip hop. Jay-Z when he became president of Def Jam, 50 with the beef, I guess. Even though he made amends with everybody. Well, almost everybody. And pretty much the New York radio people that was just playing Lil Wayne and Drake all fucking day. So let's not sit up here and act like... I'm just saying, bro. You cannot put all that on 50.
The Hot 97's former presenter, Mr. C, admitted that we were Hove 97 for a good 6 years straight. Hove was very strategic with his moves. With the blueprint left by Jay, who also had issues with fellow NYC rappers such as Cameron, Joe Budden, and Fat Joe during his run at the top, 50 took what he wanted and made no apologies for what little airtime was left for others. And wherever possible, he'd still go out of his way to make someone such as Ja Rule look bad to this day. So when 50's time on the throne ended around the time of 2009's Before I Self-Destruct, NY was left in shambles as the Atlanta sound took over. After the early 2000s, New York struggled to find their place in the game. Mano told Complex, remember, the South started to take over, so by 2011, 12, 13, we hadn't found our sound yet. We hadn't found what the new sound was, because there was a disconnect between the older artists and the newer artists that came out. From the moment that Andre 3000 stood up in front of a hostile crowd of New Yorkers at the 1995 Source Awards and proclaimed that the South got something to say, he inspired a sense of community in Atlanta, Houston, and down south. Following in Outkast's footsteps, soon Lil Wayne, Ludacris, T.I., Jeezy, Gucci, and even Florida's Rick Ross would come for their slice of the action. Yep. Afterwards, Future, Young Thug, and the entire trap movement that dominates to this day would wade in. And while there were scuffles between Gucci and Jeezy, among others, these never detracted from the overall goal of making Atlanta into the destination of hip-hop. And as this was going on right under their noses, New York remained fixated on jockeying for position and weren't putting in the time into nurturing the local scene. And where there's a void in hip-hop, you can bet that there'll be someone just waiting to fill it. Left without a sense of identity that made them into the home of hip-hop, East Coast veteran Nori had this to say on Vlad TV.
As a whole town, we're losing when you got one artist, like you got French Montana, you got Nicki Minaj. Who else can we break? I'm talking about of like the new York. Like who do they have to look up to? We're losing our identity, and it's crazy because we was the trendsetters. The DJs and everybody isn't standing up and saying, let's all get behind this record. And then it makes New York look like it fell off because we can't leave New York.
And to this very day, the neighborhoods of New York are so used to feuding that they don't really know what unity looks like. While in other cases, such as 6ix9ine's well-documented rise and fall, they've been too apathetic by allowing him to portray the image of the city's leading artist. In turn, making the city seem like a laughingstock to others when that's the biggest star that they have to offer. During a September 2019 appearance on the Joe Budden podcast, Vince Staples said that the city's willingness to permit a man that unsurprisingly turned informant to label himself as the king of New York was damaging to the city's credibility. But in his defense, Joe Budden pulled from both the history and the future.
This doesn't set New York back. We still created hip-hop. We still have Sedgwick. Bobby Shmurda be home soon.
With New York now seemingly in such a fragile state that any nudge over its kingship, whether it be from an out-of-towner such as Kendrick or a troll such as 6ix9ine, can cause the entire house of cards to collapse, it's no surprise that Joe Budden believed that Bobby Shmurda could be a man to bridge the gap. The older rappers that were already situated in the city didn't pay up-and-comers no mind if they didn't sound like the old sound. Mel's TV's Jamel Robinson told Complex. Bobby Shmurda was the first one with a newer sound, a different sound, that was accepted by New York City hip-hop culture. Steeped in a rebuilding period, this was a time where the idea of a rapper without so much as an official debut album to his name being the leading light would be absolutely laughable. But with Brooklyn Drill commandeering a lot of attention and giving the city a sense of identity again, albeit one that was adapted from Chicago in the UK, many feel that Fivio Foreign, A Boogie with the Hoodie, and Griselda could be the beginning of a new golden era.
I just do me, and it's just like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I don't really have to explain me doing me. Me being tapped into the culture for real, me being a real individual, you know, people love that. It's enough to build a cult following. It's not a gimmick. Like, this is just what, you know, we do for real, you know.
Energized by the same belief in themselves that drove New York forward during its glory years, both Griselda and Fivio are prime examples of how New York's artists can create a brighter future for themselves. As in both cases, they weren't waiting on the seal of approval of a radio station, but came out of the gate as if they'd already made it and quickly found all the love they'd ever need online. With hip-hop reaching a point where it's more regionally and musically diverse than ever, the notion of New York as a ghost town is only relevant if your sole gauge of a city's music scene comes from the charts. As when you look at everyone from Billy Woods to Max B and Beast Coast, there's more ingenuity coming out of that city than most. It's just that the numbers aren't what they once were. Secure in their position as the originators, New York's contribution can never be taken away. But at the same time, what the new wave of New York should be teaching us is that it doesn't need to discard their future out of fear that it won't measure up to a historic past. So while it may not be the epicenter it once was, and now may look to Atlanta with envious eyes, the Big Apple still has a crucial role to play as both the birthplace of the genre and a continued hotbed of talent.
I mean, yeah, but still. Stop biting niggas' shit then. That's really what it is. Hey, New York, if y'all could just find your own identity, bro, that'll be good, bro. And y'all can start biting niggas shit like the Chicago drill shit and the UK drill shit. And y'all can start biting they shit and stop trying to bite other people's shit and just come up with y'all own fucking shit, then maybe New York could come back. But as of right now, fuck y'all.